Oh my gosh.
Awesome. Hello. Hi, everyone. We're here with Tara. So cool. All right. We might chat a few moments while people are coming on and stuff, because I know there's people that will want to be here for the conversation and be here with you. So first of all, thank you so much for being here. It's so cool. And I know there's lots of our Australia community excited, but lots of other people excited too. Probably because I speak so much about you, and they're like, "Oh, let's hear what she has to say."
Oh my gosh, no, that's nice. I mean, we were just chatting a moment ago, and it's been really cool to see the whole community and everybody's friends sort of beyond that kind of get involved with your mission to bring us all together. And so part of me feels, just excited to jump in and be in the middle of all of those good vibes and sort of realign with how I can do better and be better, So thank you.
It's so nice. It's so nice. And we've actually kept although I could speak to you for hours, I'm sure, we've actually kept the interviews to about 80 minutes long. So if it's okay with you, we'll dive right into
Sure.
what we want to share today and things like that. So first of all, a big topic in the Strala community, and a big topic I know you love sharing and we love hearing about, and that's ease. Just sharing about ease. So first of all, what do you mean by it? I think that's a really good thing to share, because I know we often get confused between things being easy and approaching life with ease. And then how can we instill that into our lives, and what may come up along the way?
Oh gosh. Well, yeah, huge, ginormous topic. And, as we all kind of share, and, I think some of the reasons why we all love each other so much is seeing ease as a process and really this, mission of being a better way to go about not just the easy things or the things that come simple to us, but also, and probably more importantly, the challenges. So instead of this, banging our head against the wall when we want to get to a different place, or whether it's something as simple as yoga where we can mirror how we are in our lives, to that moving through something as simple or as silly as a handstand. We see if we, struggle along the way, or within that struggle, we find how we can be better to ourselves and how we can actually not just mentally be better, but physically change how we approach the challenges along the way. And, it's a huge struggle, I think, for me, and why I'm so passionate about it, but everything in the world seems to be radiating back to us a different message. So I think that's why I feel so grateful that there's, we found each other in this way. I don't feel like there's this community that's building. I feel like we've all sort of, come together and said, okay, let's kind of do this together and support each other and find this better way, not just in our vacation lives or when we sort of feel better, have achieved something, then we can relax a little bit, because, we all know that never happens anyway. We just end up feeling stressed and, sort of panicked, even when we're supposed to be feeling better. So, really it's this, for me, this massive belief, first of all, in a better way, and a sort of a massive rejection of aggression, which is hard, it's so challenging, but so valuable and important. And, again, I'm just so grateful to have the support of you and everybody else that's, we're all kind of in this together at this point, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so fun being part of a community that wants to share that, like you said, that finding that it is inside us, and when we come to that and find that, it's such a magical thing to experience. Lots of people wanting to move more towards that easeful way, and just getting better at being ourselves in a way, because I think it really is all inside of us, and all starts there. And so how could someone watching or someone listening infuse their life with that a little bit more, or bring that into their life a little bit more? What's something that goes?
Well, first of all, I think, if they're around you, hanging around you is going to make a difference. So finding somebody, around you that feels good, I think is super important. And being around the energy is really amazing and incredible. And sort of if you feel alone in that quest, you know, softening a little bit, slowing down a little bit. I think there's something really cool information that we know we're on the right track when, just like you said a moment ago, we feel more like ourselves instead of we're feeling like we're going off into this, you know, whether it's a spiritual quest or a yoga quest or this journey where we're changing. Of course, I think when we're becoming more ourselves, we're changing, but it should feel awesome. We should feel sort of a spark of connection like maybe we felt when we were a child, or, you know, some moment in our lives where we were, you know, peak creativity or something was going really good with us in a more natural way. I think that's one of the reasons I'm so grateful for the Strala community, because when we all get together, it feels so good because nobody's trying to be like each other. And that's just happened from this kind of, you know, wanting to be in this practice within our lives. And I think one of the greatest compliments that I get, whether we're renting a room somewhere or we're all together, is people that are sort of on the peripheral edges of that, whether they're, you know, at the coffee bar or the guy on the street or the person literally renting the room from me. They always say, "You guys are so nice," you know. And it's and I thought there was going to be a bunch of, you know, people on this intense sort of heavy, you know, spiritual quest. And I said, well, yeah, we are, but in that process, we're becoming more like ourselves, and that's really our practice. And, you know, there's not much to really preach about that, but there's so much to do about that. And I think that's something I'm so proud of within, you know, the people that we're able to connect and reach and be around. You know, the more you feel like yourself, the more you're doing a great job. And I think that's just so cool.
And you do that in such a beautiful way. And while you mentioned connecting with the people around us, there's tons of comments coming in.
Oh, wow. Okay.
There's hi to Cynthia. We should say hi to everyone. Hi to Cynthia.
Everyone.
Hi to Inga. That's awesome. There's someone, Nikal Malsk, who's coming in from Florida. There's
wow.
who's in from London. There's Jessica, who's in from Palm Beach. There's Niraj, who says hi, you two, from
hey.
There's Bibi from Bellagio. There's someone from Miami, Cerise. Hey, guys. That's awesome.
Hey,
cool. So just while you mentioned that connecting, I thought,
yeah.
Say hi to everyone, bring them in here. So while you're here, I'd love to know if you guys have any questions for Tara. It would be so great to be able to ask the questions. I do actually have a few from our community that reached out a little bit earlier that I'd love to ask. So one of the first ones was Francisca, and a couple of the questions spoke to this, speaking to technology. So how do you find the balance between, and we can probably touch on both of the questions, between using social media and you know, and life, let's call it, and also just general screen time. So what problems that can arise from it, and how we can find the ease even with that.
Oh gosh, well, I think it's such a personal question too, and I think we're all at some level in denial about whatever's happening because it's so massive and it's so new to all of us. I think especially with, you know, our generation where we grew up not having it and now we have it, so we're the ones that are addicted to it. It's not sort of the younger people that have it all the time. So maybe there's something there, but I know for myself, it's really important not to kind of get caught in this looking over my shoulder syndrome or this what should I be doing feeling in a way. And the internet is, you know, a great place to feel terrible about yourself. Really, if you want to, if you give it a little bit, it'll take a lot of that out of you. So I think, you know, first of all, finding a community, you know, whether it's online or in person, that is supportive of you is huge, but also knowing that it's super important to put the technology down and do things that make you actually feel good with people in person and with yourself in person. And I know for us, it seems so silly, but you know, being in nature, we've just moved to the mountains, which is wonderful. But also when we were in New York City, you know, getting outside often, leaving our phones at home often when we go outside. Something I love doing at sort of dinner parties in the last year or so has been If somebody doesn't know who I am and they ask what I do for work or for my passion, I just change the subject and talk about, you know, my favorite color or something like that. So I think for me personally, it's healthy to have conversations not based around, you know, where people can fit you in that sort of boxed world, and conversations around, you know, feeling good and connecting on a human level in a way that's meaningful and important and maybe more spontaneous in the moment. So, you know, I love that, and I know what that formula means for me, but I think it's also important not to have a too rigid formula for everybody. Then, you know, then it doesn't work. And then we're creating a new set of rules and restrictions around, you know, when we can use Instagram or when we can use the screen and when we need to go for our walk. And then all of a sudden everything becomes stressful too. But I think, you know, obviously, you know, Deepak said something really useful years ago. He asked me to do this iPhone app sort of in the beginning of iPhone apps. And he got asked to go on a morning show, and I got asked to sort of sit next to him and do some yoga moves, which was really cool. But the interviewer, this was the beginning of sort of the iPhones and all of that and apps. The interviewer said, well, Deepak, you know, you're this spiritual guy. Isn't technology the opposite? And he said, well, you know, stop right there. Technology is neutral. It's what we do with it that is really important. And I think, you know, that's such an important message right there. These things aren't evil, but we can make them good and we can make them not so useful as well. So I think, you know, finding that balance for ourselves is really important, and knowing that the rules can't come from the outside in unless we have to set them for ourselves.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So I know there's some people asking, well, at least from inside, maybe I'm asking. So some of the things that you're doing is connecting with nature, you mentioned, connecting with people in real time, you mentioned. Would there be a couple more, say, tips in a way that it can seemingly be obvious, like often we know in a way, but maybe would be really helpful? Yeah.
I think is super one that we all know and we probably all think that we do, but we don't, is leave the phone outside of where we're sleeping. As far away, I mean, you know, even if you live in a one-room apartment, putting it in the bathroom underneath the shower maybe is good. But, you know, in the kitchen or outside of the bedroom is super healthy. You know, I've been making a point to do that since we've been here, here in nature, literally. But I've noticed that I haven't done that so much in New York, and I've just got caught up in that energy of the city and the busyness and, you know, all of that. So here I've really made it a priority, and I've noticed when we wake up in the morning, Mike will take his shower, you know, the sun is still down, and he comes back and we just talk about whatever's happening. I do a little bit of yoga. Daisy starts to wake up, and then I can grab the phone at some point. But then it becomes not this impulse or this addiction or even this getting into it right away. And even if Mike and I are talking about things that then I'll have to go and send some emails or whatever, I'm not going back and forth and distracted from my conversation with him and the internal conversation within myself to have that instant gratification of doing the digital stuff right then. So I know for me, it seems like a silly thing, but it's been a huge impact on my life. So
yeah, fantastic. And I know that, you know, once implemented, something like that is so important, and can benefit obviously not just ourselves, but then we're talking about the health and the well-being of everyone around us by connecting in that way. So yeah, beautiful. Amazing. And then Irene also posted a question asking about how you stay calm when maybe going through, or calm, or let's say with ease, when you're going through a tense or a stressful situation. And she spoke to a specific situation, but I think we can also speak generally to. So if there's a stressful situation going on, what's a way that we can bring about either the ease or the calm?
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, I'm going to quote Mike on this one. He said something really interesting, and it's, you know, it's always funny because it's Mike, but when he says stuff that makes sense, I have to say, okay. But, you know, he talks about a lot, not practicing in the middle of the stressful situation, but having that practice when we are more at ease, or when we do have the space and the time. So, you know, even if there's this event that's happening in your life that's stressful, sort of from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, it's creating little pockets for yourself where you feel good and you can do a little bit of practice, you can slow down and connect with your breath. So say then when you go into the room or go into the space where there is that intense moment, you don't feel like you have to adjust yourself right there to feel better. It's sort of, you're coming in more full and more prepared. And sure, it may be challenging and hard and difficult, but you're more full in this way where it's not going to impact you or feel so sort of swished around like a washing machine or overwhelmed or, you know, super vulnerable in that way. So, you know, again, I think it's really important to have that consistency with our practice and to create those pockets of time so we feel better, you know, right in those moments of challenge, because that's not really the time to, you know, I can't talk to you right now, I need to breathe. You know, it doesn't really work that way. You know, we've all seen those in movies, like just take a deep breath in the moment. But, you know, it doesn't really work. You know, if we're in traffic or, you know, if we're sick or we're injured or whatever the situation is, it's, you know, it's building up that sort of reservoir so we can feel better in that moment and have the tools to not get so caught up in it while we're dealing.
Yeah, amazing. And I remember I have something to add to that may be helpful. I remember in our first Strala training, when you spoke to, you know, just folding the laundry and leaning in, and that may sound crazy to someone who hasn't practiced this or who hasn't practiced Strala, but it's so great, you guys. Like once you're doing it, once you're practicing that in your day to day, you know, like leaning on something, leaning on the table. And I know my kids always have this funny comment, like when they see me get the laundry basket and I'm sitting, oh, she's doing that yoga laundry again. Folding laundry, leaning on my laundry.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's another one. That
you're so right. I mean, I think you know, if we're just practicing being good to ourselves and we're doing our good to ourselves yoga practice, then it doesn't really work for the rest of our lives. And we're probably not even being good to ourselves when we're practicing the yoga. I mean, if you feel stressed and rigid in our life, it's really hard to do yoga and to be easygoing and soft. It becomes almost a pretend act in a way. And that's where we kind of get into trouble with, you know, faking things in that way. Or, you know, also likely what happens is you end up practicing yoga in the same way that you're practicing everything else, and everything becomes sort of stressed as well. So yeah. I like the folding the laundry. I'm going to go back to that. So good.
And yeah, we have like a couple 2 minutes left. So if anyone has any more questions and wants to jump on with the question, that would be great for us. Some questions for Tara, and I'm sure she can bring in some answers from Mike. And we probably should say hi to Mike and thanks for being him in here too. I have one. Do you have a circle of people that keeps you grounded, or a circle of friends that keeps you connected?
Well, I think I have a circle of all you guys, which is really great. Yeah. And yeah, I'm really lucky to again kind of be dropped into this world of ease and to keep growing, and that's wonderful. And it's humbling as well. You know, I sort of take this point of view of, you know, I love this idea of guiding instead of teaching as well, because no one's really in charge. You know, we're all sharing and we're all on our path of progress. And, you know, I never know where I'm going to get inspired and where I'm going to learn something and improve something. And you know, I think that's such a valuable lesson. And, you know, of course I have Mike and Sam and Daisy and my family. I'm close with my family, which is really great. And, you know, my mom was just here visiting with my dad, and we've been doing yoga every day, and she's letting me practice shiatsu on her, which is really nice. And, you know, she said something great, which kind of hit me back over the head. One day we didn't do the yoga, and she said, Tara, you know, yoga only works if you do it. So I said, all right, let's do it. So we did it. So I noticed you didn't do any yoga today. Let's do it. So, you know, I think just having that close relationship around with the people that are just simply around is such a good lesson, because, you know, you never know when someone's going to say something that makes absolute sense. So
yeah, so do your yoga, says Tara's mom. Okay.
Yeah, this is my mom.
Another quick question from Alex, which is, any thoughts on meditation before or after yoga?
Oh gosh, I think, you know, meditation is one of those, it's so amazing that whenever you feel inspired to do it, I think run with it, go with it. But I also feel that way about practice. You know, if you're a morning person, if you feel good in the morning, then go for it and do it. Some people feel like they need to practice and get all moved and stretched out and at ease before meditation. And some people feel like they don't need that. And I think we all change from day to day, week to week. So, you know, I think it's important to be reasonable with yourself and not feel like this is what yoga is and this is the order that it has to happen in, and somebody made that up and it must be true. So I think it's important to, you know these things are inside and the tools are there for us to access. And of course we get better as we improve. We can tap in easier as we improve, as time goes on and all of that. But I think, you know, it's also important not to be too dogmatic and really rigid with ourselves and the order we do things.
Yeah, beautiful. I have one as a approach, I think, to being a mama, which is, how do you manage ease and calm with your baby?
Well, that is the hardest thing. I think that's been the biggest challenge all along. You know, especially when if she's upset and I can't make it better, if I can't fix it right away, then that's hard. So I think the challenge for me has been just being there, being present, being with her, caring for her, you know, providing the things that she needs, but also providing myself as a presence. So that's been sort of the most fun and also the most challenging, especially when, you know, again, I can't fix everything in the moment when all those baby puberty hormones are happening, but also not getting stressed out about it myself and knowing that if she's gonna fall on the floor and scream and kick her feet, I can just be there and not, you know, panic myself and wait for her to feel better and be there when she's ready for a hug.
Yeah, holding that for her. All right, we have one more question. Is that okay? Can we fit it?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So this is from Michael, who says, the world of ease is the key to living, and yoga, and you build a shield of protection. But out of the blue, when we have balance, I find it's a person that knocks me down. So how to deal with this without guilt?
Oh my gosh.
So maybe speaking to, our relationship when we're building maybe that stillness or something inside. I have a feeling you're going to answer this really well.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the intention behind the question is, but I feel like there might be something there with when we get better, when we change ourselves, you know, maybe everybody's not so receptive to that at the time. Maybe that's the question, or certain kind of relationships. But, you know, again, Sam Berlind teaches us so clearly with shiatsu, something that I think is great that we don't actually get so much with yoga, because we have that relationship with the other person. And, you know, I see this all the time in the trainings and also with myself. That first instinct is to want to try to do something that we think the other person will like. And it ends up feeling crap. You know, it ends up feeling maybe okay, maybe nice, but not great and never amazing. And, you know, keeping the technique, again, keeping the process that we know that will work and, you know, that's there and available for us is great. But the main practice is taking care of ourselves and being with ourselves, and then simply bringing that to the other person through the technique and process and all of that. So I know that's helped me huge with life. I mean, of course it works with shiatsu, but that's just to practice another form to practice life. So, you know, if we're showing up, taking care of ourselves, present, we're going to be able to not worry so much about what's going on with the other person, not assume we know everything that they're thinking, you know, and know that when we take care of ourselves and show up and are present, that we're offering literally the best thing possible for that person. And we don't have to sort of double do it or do anything extra. And the moment that we try to do anything extra, it's just manipulation, and it never leads to anything good. And it's always stressful for us, and the other person. So I think that's, again, a huge lesson I learned from Sam. I remember the first time he kind of said that so plainly in a training, and I said, wait a minute, we got to break this down. This is about shiatsu. And he's like, none of this is about shiatsu, Tara. When are you going to get that? I said, I think I just, you know, starting to scratch the surface of that. But, you know, it's so true. Just breathing, being with ourselves, and then bringing that to the other person, just being in that space with them is fine. We don't have to put on a big show or anything else. So I think that's been a huge lesson for me.
Yeah, for me too, a really huge lesson for people that, you know, being in the world and wanting to do great things and wanting to share great things, learning to come back and just be in ourselves and be that from within, which then shines out to everyone. All right, thank you so much, Tara. There's more questions and comments coming in, but you guys should know that Tara's always asking for questions that she can approach to make yoga videos about, and which she sends out weekly on her newsletter, which is such an amazing thing. So really, really, if you have questions, reach out to the Strala community, reach out to Tara what's the best way to reach out to you?
Oh, any of the usual ways. I think, thanks for mentioning the newsletter. We put a lot of sort of effort into that, trying to help people with that, but that's a great way. But also, you know, email or all the social media sites are totally fine. But yeah, we're here and we love connecting and hearing feedback and seeing how we can help better and be better and all of that. And, you know, thank you for doing that as well with everybody. And thank you for helping me. You know, you're always there in the whatever space we're in, picking up everything after everybody. And, you know, you're just an angel. So, so sweet.
It's so amazing to be with you guys and serving in that way, just being around our community and creating more vibes in the world. So awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks everyone. Thanks Tara. Thanks everyone for being here, and I look forward to connecting you super soon. A big virtual hug, because I know that awesome. Thank you. Bye. Okay, we should be ending. How did we go? I think we're ended. And then I've just got someone here helping me do, and she's telling us that it's still recording. This is
okay. Oh, hey, how are you?
She's passing me on.
Wow.
On these little handwritten notes.
Oh, that's so cool. Are you interviewing someone else today, or?
I've actually done 3.
Oh, wow.
I interviewed someone in Australia at 7 this morning. I interviewed Katrin, who did the yoga and skiing.
Cool.
Yeah. She was amazing. She was really nervous about her English, and she was so great. She was so great. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So cool. Thanks so much for doing this. This is so incredible.
Thank you. It's what a crazy fun idea though. Like literally I was at the beach. I didn't take my computer because I was with the kids and we were on a few 4 days holiday, and I was sitting in meditation. I was like, okay, pop the question on the Australia community. I can do that. What happens? I was like, yeah.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding? Yeah, we're all so excited. Oh, it's so great. Oh my God. And happy birthday.
It's not till October, so I hope to be with you guys.
Coming up.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
This will be a good lead up. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, cool. And so how's it going with organizing retreats and stuff there?
Oh, great. So yeah, I mean, it couldn't be better. It's all sort of one of those crazy timing things. Jamie Redford, who's Robert Redford's son, used to come to the studio in New York. And was always just so nice to us and would volunteer to write blurbs for the Strala books and just say nice things and, you know, just way too nice. And he's been telling us to come out here for years, and they love the whole ease concept. And I met with his sister, Shauna, who runs sort of the day-to-day operations, and she wants to do more videos and things around for the rooms and the retreat and the resort, and, you know, just more exciting. She's kind of a person who you hang out with her and you feel like she's already doing this stuff, but she's not. And she says, there's a practice to this. I want to do this, you know, and she always thought yoga was kind of boring and rigid and you had to be, you know, sort of a phony spiritual. And, she's, a Redford environmentalist and all these things. I said, well, this is already what we're talking about. So you're already doing it. So I'm just excited to, practice with her and maybe do some yoga one-on-one with her and help her feel better. And maybe she can come to the retreats as well. So it's been great because it's just all about people, and all of the logistics has been so easy because of that. So it's been great. So
and what a spot. Yeah. And how about connecting with the community? I loved mentioning we've become country folk. I think you guys were inside always, weren't you?
Oh yeah, we were fake city people. I think that's why we always love coming to Europe. It just feels more relaxed. But yeah, this neighborhood we're living in has a horse stable at a few miles away, and they let us go in because we have Daisy. I think she's our free pass everywhere. So we don't have a horse or anything, but we just go in there and bring a big bag of carrots and feed the horses. So we got to know the girls that work there a little bit, and Daisy just started a little school program actually 2 days ago. So we're starting to meet some parents. I know, it's just crazy because, I hang out with her all the time, and now it's a big change. So she's adjusting. She loves hanging out with other kids. So I think it'll be really good for her to just have that community herself and not just be sort of with us in the house all the time. So she's so active, and I think that'll be great. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know, maybe it'll be terrible, but I think it'll be a good chance for us to meet people as well. But even in the grocery store yesterday, there was this couple that were in their 60s. They were super cool, kind of really healthy hippie types. And we just started talking about olives for like 20 minutes.
Fantastic.
I just feel like, that those kind of conversations are always possible, but, here in a place where people aren't rushing and it seems easier. And now I feel silly that I haven't created more of that in New York. So I have to find ways to keep doing that everywhere I go now. So
I think, yeah, absolutely. You guys are leading and always learning and always sharing with us what's going on, and it's so special. It's absolutely amazing.
Well, we're all learning from each other, so that's I'm just grateful to be. I don't know what this is. It's like a huge universe of awesomeness. So I'm just it's really cool.
Awesome. All right, Tara, I'm gonna head. I've got 3 big babies at home, not so little babies.
Oh my gosh. All right. We'll talk to you soon. Let me know anything I can help with, or anything I can do for you, or any of that. So I'm here.
I will.
Cool. Okay. Have a great day. Have fun with the kids.
Yeah. Say hi to Daisy.
Okay.
Bye. Bye, gorgeous.